Okay, so good evening, everyone. And firstly, I welcome you all to this session of our CISSP series. And thank you for your time. And let's hope I'm able to meet your queries and, you know, orient you to the CISSP 2020 and 2024 both, right? So a little something about me. So I'm Colonel Shubhajit Nair, retired. I retired from Indian Army, and it's almost 2.5 years now. And I moved into information security as I was carrying the background of cybersecurity and edge computing networks. So yes, I started preparing for the CISSP exam way back in 2017, 18. And then became a little serious about the exam somewhere around, I'll say, 2019. It took me roughly 3 months to prepare and give this wonderful certification, I must say. And then I realized that this certification holds a lot of hope for everyone who is in the industry for information security or cyber security, or in general, if you are a technologist. I feel it's a very good certification to have to lead you into good management roles, right? Then I founded my own company, and along with my co-founder, we are now into the training and managed cybersecurity services, and that's been last 24 years, right? So that was a little bit about me. So today's scope is, what is a CISSP, and how CISSP can help you in, I will say, you know, propagating your career to where you are today, to where you see yourself maybe 5, 10, or 15 years from now. Right. So this is how I will be covering my presentation, right? If you have any questions or doubts, you can keep it for the end when we will have a proper question answer session, right? So what is CISSP? Most of you might be knowing, because once you are started preparing for CISSP, you start doing your research, and you come to know that it's a certification which is well regarded as a very, I'll say, required certification for most of the medium, mid-senior, or senior roles, even for CISO roles. Uh, I'm aware of few openings just now, which I've offered to very good friends of mine who are CISSPs. Uh, they are all CISO and CIO level roles, right? So it gives a definitive boost to your career. And we have someone with us today who is again, who's done his CISSP and is in a very good role. Today he'll be joining us and will be giving his insights into how CISSP has helped him, to establish his career. And it gives you a 36,000 feet view of concepts. It's not a very technical, I would say it's not a very technical, uh, it is technical, but it's not testing your technical knowledge. It's testing your security mindset, whether you understand security while looking at it. So today, what I want to do is I'll be posting some questions, and I'll request you to, reply on the chat. We can have a discussion also on, such questions. So I have a small question in front of you. I'll request you all to kindly read this and reply. And if someone can volunteer as to would like to explain what could be a possible answer, right? So there's this question in front of you. I hope you guys can read. Uh, and you can answer this question. And please let me know whether it is a very technical question. If you think it's a very technical question, please let me know. Come on, guys, you're planning to give CISSP. Expect a question like this in your CISSP. Yeah, the more we interact, it'll give us some interest to stay, and right. So, do you think this question requires too much of technical knowledge? Uh, Basically, you're trying to do, what you are trying to do is you're trying to, okay, everybody has answered. Most of you have answered B. Uh, you know, is it a very technical question? Somebody said A. Okay, right. B. It could be. I don't know the answer. Okay, so let's debate this question to see how this question relates to CISSP, right? So I generally this is my technique. You don't have to follow this technique. My technique is I start from the end. So I read a question twice. So we are building a house on top of Mount Everest. Not of any concern to me. Recently, you saw in the news that a significant tsunami destroyed the. So this is the context. All CISSP exams will have all questions will have a context. Is this context important? No way, right? Depending on the circumstances that destroyed the nuclear plant, you decided that Earth is a very unstable place to live. Okay. That is also a concept. You decided to build. Now, this is where the action comes in. See at the question. Till now, it has not given me anything great. This is where the context actually comes in. You decided to build a spaceship and make a house on Mars, and there is no chance of tsunami. This is the meat of the question. What is this approach called in risk assessment, right? So it is asking me what is the approach. So I always generally read the question twice and underline. When I'm practicing, I underline, two few things which are critical. So I realize that in this particular question, this part is just bull. I don't want to use a bad word. So it is just bull. It is most of it is something which is giving you a story. What you want to know is you did an action, make a house on Mars, and there is no chance of tsunami. There's no chance of tsunami. Now, risk is probability, right? So if there is no chance, means probability is equal to zero. And when could probability be equal to zero, right? So my answering technique is you don't have to do that. You can do your own answering technique. My answering technique used to be I used to read from the bottom and I used to eliminate the answer. So risk mitigation. Is it risk mitigation? Uh, because am I trying to mitigation is trying to face the risk and reduce it as much as possible. Am I trying to face the risk here? No, I'm trying to escape the risk. So probably this is not the right answer, right? Risk acceptance. Have I accepted the risk that there will be tsunami on Mount Everest? No, I've not accepted. Right. So this is also out. Risk avoidance because you avoided being on Earth so that there are no chances of tsunami. Well, that may be a bad approach. You may have the money like Elon Musk and go to, Mars. Could be. Okay. But we're still not saying that this is the right answer, but we have negated two answers, right? Risk exposure because staying on Mount Everest has a chance of being hit by a tsunami if a major meteor strikes. Well, that will be the chance. But uh, I'm not getting exposed. I'm leaving the earth. So that means this is also wrong. So ultimately, this answer comes out, right? And I always teach my students to follow this approach of negating the answers out in CISSP. Read question twice, negate the answers, come to the right answer. And this is what I will say CISSP mindset is all about. Okay. So this was a short question. I just want to debate. If anyone has any points, can give, right? So this is the right answer, risk avoidance. And to be frank, though I don't want to break the NDA, questions are somewhat, on the same lines. Questions are somewhat on the same lines once we uh, attempt CISSP. Okay. So today's session is going to have at least 10 more such questions. And, I hope you guys like it. I made them myself. Right. So why CISSP? So why CISSP is, uh, you are here maybe today, maybe 10 years back, maybe 15 years back. And maybe over the period of time, some of us start getting filtered out. Somebody reaches the top positions very early in life. Somebody, takes another 5 years, 10 years. Okay. And by the end of our careers, we would love to be here. But what happens is most of the people reach somewhere mid senior, and few people also get left down. And these are based on the decisions you take early in your career, right? So why CISSP? It's a very, very well respected certification, and you will be recognized very well, and you will have opportunities which are really respected across the industry. So let's hear from an industry expert. We have with us Jaideep Ravindran, who has recently, I will say, cleared CISSP and is working with Aegis Security. Hi, sir. Good evening and welcome back. And I wanted to, introduce you to this forum because I thought you are the best person to, tell how CISSP probably helped you in your journey. Over to you, sir. Yeah, I will do that. Given, sir.
Hi, Subhajit. It's a pleasure to be here. I can see that you playing a yeoman's role in taking on this, mantle of spreading cybersecurity awareness, and especially amongst transitioning veterans and a lot of others. I must. I'll not take much of your time. I'll just. This is a pointed discussion that is happening today. But I passed my CISSP exam last year in December, so it's nearly been an year. We're just talking with a colleague today that we've not done any certification this year, and we just had a conversation saying that we'll take on ISO 27001. So learning is a continuous process. You have to keep at it and keep going, keep upgrading your skills. And this is one of the forums which Subhajit has taken the initiative. And I must acknowledge the role that he played. Just to give you a brief background, I also served in the army for 25 years. I was commissioned in 1997, served in the Corps of Signals. I was not a hardcore technical guy. I won't claim to be a technical guy, but the exposure in signals by default makes you a little conversant with technologies that we deal with on our daily basis in terms of our functional requirements in regiments, units, in various staff appointments. I had a tenure in PMO Suraj where we met. Subhajit took over from me in PMO Suraj. That's where our association started. And I quit the army in January this year. And I started my journey of transition in January last year. And I was absolutely rudderless and clueless, like most of us are. Some of us are better prepared in terms of the direction that we want to take. So I started with PMP first, then did CSM, then I met Naha and a few other, uh, elevated guys with greater insights. They challenged me to kind of take on CISSP. It looked like a very difficult field to take on, but it was an interesting field in terms of the potential that it offers. If the mere fact that all of us are here today to kind of gain insights and look at how CISSP can be tackled is the first step. That you've taken the first step in terms of taking on this challenge, and that decision I believe has already been made for most of us who are attending this call today. Since I've undergone this journey about 1.5 years back, it was a difficult step. But once you decide to get into it, and once you start attending a webinar like this, then you get down to basics like any task that you take on in life. Then you look at the overall scope of CISSP. There are 8 domains that you need to tackle. You may be familiar with some of the domains of courtesy or exposure in whatever field you worked in earlier, and you may not be familiar with a few of the domains. They would be completely new to most of us. For example, like software development, security, or security engineering. Some of these domains, some aspects are not very. We don't have working experience in these domains, but having undergone the journey, I can tell you that it's a very challenging exam, but a good exam to take on, because it is not got anything to do with working knowledge. Your working knowledge would definitely help, but it is more to do with conceptual clarity. And most of us who are in whatever stage in life, if we've decided to take on this certification, then we are ready to kind of take on the challenge of clearing our the cobwebs that we have in our head regarding various concepts. So uh, it's a difficult exam to pass in terms of the time and finite effort that you need to put in. I'll just tell you, since the purpose of his getting me on call today is to highlight how CISSP has helped me. It has been a game changer for me at least. With PMP and CSM, I looked at various roles that I would fit into in corporate world. I found that after I did CISSP I passed on 29th of December last year, and after that, opportunities opened up. Like there's a massive change in terms of the opportunities that turned up for me, and it was CISSP lets you clear that first filter of anybody who's looking for a cybersecurity role in any company in corporate, and the number of roles hopefully will increase in the time to come, especially next year because of various laws and regulations that have come in because of people taking greater interest in adapting to this field, especially military veterans. CISSP was a game changer for me. I got multiple opportunities, and but the other thing is, passing CISSP is one thing. It gives you that confidence that you have that basic knowledge of all domains which are covered in CISSP. But to kind of look for a role or map yourself and your capabilities to a specific role in any vertical or a sector that you need to kind of adapt and fit in is a completely different journey, because there are in CISSP there are 8 domains, and there are companies which are functioning which span all 8 domains. In some companies, like the place that I work for a company called Rogers Cyber Security Limited. We are the cyber info security partners for UIDA along with HP. And in UIDA, like all of you know, there is data. There are 2 data centers, and it's a high security critical national infrastructure. So you see all domains of CISSP working in terms of GRCP, in terms of DLP, in terms of identity and access management, in terms of so you get a whole. But if you go to a banking sector, then your verticals like info, GRC vertical. So after passing CISSP, the next step is to kind of identify and map and visualize what role and what are your strengths and what do you enjoy doing, what kind of field would you like to, what keeps you live and kicking. So that's the next step. Fortunately for me, it is all when the opportunities turned up, I found this current opportunity a reasonable exposure, because it covers most of the domains that you kind of are looking for exposure to. So that's why I chose this role. And since all of you are taking that first step, most of you would be in some stage of preparation. All that I can tell you, since Subhajit has called me today, is CISSP is definitely a must do in case if you're keenly looking at transitioning into cybersecurity domain. And one of the other key reasons why I thought I'll kind of try and get into this domain is also because of the fact that cybersecurity is a field which hopefully is recession proof, because digital infrastructure is springing up, in a massive manner. Everything is going digital. Cybersecurity will continue to play a role in the times to come, and it'll spread its tentacles across all sectors. And technology is making it so. That's also one of the reasons why I took on cybersecurity. So CISSP was definitely a big help. But after CISSP also, cloud security, like Subhajit was motivating me the other day, around 4 5 months back, that you should take on security also. CCSP certification is one certification that is again on our radar now, most of us in this field. That's again, but CISSP is the mother of all. If you ask me, it's generally considered to be the toughest to crack. So after if you're looking at CISSP, if you pass CISSP, then the other certifications, hopefully you'll have that confidence that you can crack it in with lesser time and effort. So my insight is that most of you who are attending this call, it's a very good thing to do. There is no such. I'm sure you're already very inspired, and it's not. I was a very GD kind of a guy, not hardcore technical, but you tackle all 8 domains which are covered as part of CISSP without great technical expertise and working knowledge, which I didn't have. I can admit, and I could kind of dig in deep, understand the concepts, go through the prescribed. If you look at LinkedIn and people passing CISSP every day, you look at their experiences, subscribe to the acclaimed courses that are run to kind of help you prepare for this exam. So it will definitely, you undergo the process, and you will definitely pass. And most of us, once you decide, the most difficult thing is to take that decision. Once you take a decision, then you're committed to a goal, and then it flows, and you have to take it one step at a time. And finish one domain, the second domain, third domain. And one thing I would like to kind of tell you is that after you finish all domains and you have an overview of all the entire syllabus, like some of us would have prepared for staff college and a lot of courses in our capacities in various ranks in the army or maybe otherwise. After you finish all these domains and had a complete overview of the whole thing, you must pause and correlate and understand the reason why there are 8 domains, the reason why all these concepts are covered, the reason why all these concepts are covered in different domains are interrelated to each other. That's why these questions, like one of the sample questions that Subhijit was flashing, you have to kind of go through these mock questions and which will probe you to interrelate. And it is not just reading up one page and understanding that page and going to the next page and third page and forgetting what you have to understand. All these concepts in cybersecurity are linked. So after you finish, covering the entire syllabus, getting a hang of what concepts or what is the entire structure that CISSP involves, you need to logically think of why it is made in the manner that it is, and how are these concepts interrelated? How is it relevant to what you're going to do tomorrow in your role? That kind of taking a pause and correlating is very critical. So that's all from my side. So Vijay, if there's anything specific that you want me to cover, then I'll be happy to take it on.
No, sir, thank you so much. That is what we wanted to hear. A third, I can keep speaking and, that may not be the right thing to do because definitely the industry perspective, is very helpful. Okay. So thank you so much, sir. Thank you for, giving this enlightening view of how CISSP helped you in your journey. Right. So let's go on to a smaller question. Okay. This is a question and uh, a very favorite questions at times, asked in some different manner. So let's hear the views of our audience. You can chat your answers, right? Confusing, right? It's confusing because, to be frank, uh, somebody said A and C. Okay. It's all four, why not? All, yes. And that's how you will be tested in the exam. But definitely, in the exam, there will definitely be another option E, which says all of the above, right? It was just to invigorate a small discussion to understand, how it can, basically, a security professional is supposed to contribute to the society, maintain general good in the society, and that is what is expected of, all of us. Okay. Yes. Yeah. It will have give you the choices. I deliberately didn't give the choice because I wanted someone to say all, right? So it's just to, give you that small inquisitiveness in your mind. Right. So domain one is all about how information security governance is carried out. We speak about, security governance frameworks. We talk about business continuity planning, policies, procedures, strategies, tactical plans, operational plans, as per what ISC2 understands. Your organizations may have different way of carrying out governance. You might have a governance committee, but ISC2 doesn't talk about that. ISC2 talks about governance, risk management, and compliance in a different manner, which is more focused towards US laws. But once you take that knowledge and apply it in whichever region you are, that also solves your purpose, right? So this is major part. There is a change in 2021 to 2025, wherein the percentage has increased to 1% more. It is now almost, I think, 16%. Right. So I have a small question on domain one. Guys, this is as close to as what CISSP could be all about, right? This is as close to what a CISSP question could be. Any of you who go and attempt the CISSP question will definitely say, oh, this is something very close. I've made it myself. Please answer this question. Those who score 100 out of 100 can go and attempt the exam. They don't have to do any training, any preparations. Guys are ready then. I must say that. So you read the question very, very properly. What is being asked? Now, this is called a negative question. Right. So this is okay. Great. Let people. It can't be C and D. There are no two. This time there are no two. Okay. This time it is only one. Right. So most of you have you know understood the question. It is asking what is not the right approach. Now, information security should be a top-down approach. Should be a top-down approach. I am asking what is not the right approach. The not the right approach is it cannot be formulated by line managers, right? See, there was no knowledge required in this. We all know that it should be top-down. But the question was an English question. It is asking, and that's why I made it capital also. What is not, right? So these are the types. These are called single negative question. There will be a double negative question. What is a double negative question? What is not the right approach in not implementing a information security policy? So two double negative becomes a positive question, right? So this is how CISSP plays a little bit of tricks with you. Okay, then domain 2 is all about asset security, wherein we identify data and we understand its states and how to secure those states, whether it's in motion, whether it's in rest, or whether it's in use. Also, we understand what are the data security appointments or data security roles and responsibilities are all about. This is a smaller domain, very easy domain. First domain is slightly larger, and second domain is very, very small, and it's pretty easy, right? So we have a short question on domain 2 also, and we can, debate this also. We don't have much time. We want to finish off. I don't want to take much time of yours on a weekday. Let's try to finish this off in next 15 to 20 minutes. But this will give you a good idea of how CISSP is all about. Come on, we have almost 23 people on the meeting, and we expect at least 20 answers. Okay. So now this question is, how do we answer this question, right? What is the right way of collecting this data, right? So let's start, from the bottom, as I always start, right? So it's a collect PII data using AES 128-bit client-side encryption. So it means once the client is going to feed his PII, it is encrypted, okay? And storing with AES 256-bit on the server. So that means you have a client-side encryption and you have a server-side encryption, right? So this is first part. Okay, so this is probably could be one of the contenders. Collect PII using client-side encryption using DES. DES is a insecure algorithm. It's no more used. So this is clearly out. Collect PII data using SSL, okay, and storing with encryption on the server. Well, this is also seems to be right. Okay, so now A is collecting PII using client-side encryption, good, and storing without encryption on the server. So this is out, right? So we have two contenders, and both contenders are very, very close. Now, if you look at now a little bit of understanding that SSL is only data on move. Okay. So SSL, you can implement it only once the data is moving. What about if the application security engineer has not implemented client-side encryption while collecting the data? So by the time it meets the SSL agent, which will encrypt it on the application, there is a chances of a injection attack. Okay, slightly technical, and that's why we will rule out B. But in otherwise the normal circumstances, this would have been a good answer. But out of these two answers, this is much more correct because you have both client side and server side encryption, right? How do you implement it? Nobody's going to ask, right? So this was just a small, this answer would have been correct if I would have also implemented plus SSL. If I implemented one more SSL, then answer would have been very, very clear that this is the correct answer. Right. Domain 3 is about security architecture and engineering. And this is, I will say, those who have seen the movie Castaway, this is where, if you cross this wave, you are there. Because most of the people give up on this topic. Because most of us have done engineering long time back. We forget how the operating system works, what are different modeling techniques, security models, and other things. So we've and cryptography is a gray area for a lot of people, and this is where most of the people, I will say 90% of people give up after to tackle this. If you tackle this, uh, that is where you have crossed, and you can be assured, rest assured that you're definitely going to pass CISSP. Okay, so I've got a small question, and then we will go ahead. Okay, thanks. Guys, the answer is there in front of you. You get an error message, hardware module error. It's telling you there is a hardware module error, right? So if it is a error, the OS is going to ask you for a password and not allow you to, sign into your laptop with a fingerprint or a face recognition. So a registry of fingerprint data, if that registry is, corrupt, what will happen is it is a software error. It is not a hardware error, right? Finger is oily. Again, it's a physical problem. Fingerprint data is compromised. Well, that if it's compromised, will it allow you to, how does it matter, right? So all these three answers are gone. HSM is a hardware module, which is there on your laptop, which stores your biometric data, right? So over a period of time, we generally are aware, this is general knowledge these days, that all laptops come with an inbuilt biometric or a key data storage, hardware chip, which encrypts your entire biometric and all your keys and keeps it in the HSM or a TPM module. It's called a hardware security module. So if hardware security module has gone faulty, then that is the error you're going to give, right? So domain 4 is about communication and network security. And this is all of us mostly will be aware of this particular domain. And this looks into TLS, SSL, Wi-Fi, wireless, uh, you know, frequency hopping, spread spectrum, and secure networking components. Very interesting and very, very easy domain for those who have been into networking, right? So this again is a slightly larger domain and you have to cross this. Now, got a short question and it's based on my previous background, which was my military background, right? So please read this question and, try to relate and try to answer this question. Such questions do figure out, okay? You don't have to be in military to answer this question. Okay, so here the keyword is single frequency transmission reception radio set, right? Has someone ever used single frequency uh, reception radio set? Our normal FM radio sets, everyone is on the same frequency, right? Everyone, and somebody is broadcasting, right? So but a there is a little bit of, you know, uh, in broadcast, what happens is one person transmits to everyone, right? Where in multicast, everyone can transmit to everyone. Okay. So in such kind of a network, though this might be the central position, in multicast, you can transmit to each other. And that is why it is a multicast, right? Simple, but I gave it a twist. Okay, right. So domain 5 is about identity and access management. We explore all the identity techniques, access management techniques, principles and concepts of access management, and then we see the technologies behind it. And we major part of this particular domain is single sign-on and the protocols which are there behind implementing access control methodologies, right? So got a small question and okay, please read the question properly. Cost effective. It has to be cost effective. Okay, guys, I'll solve it for you. Okay, you implement a weight sensor, fine, you can do that, but it will be complex. You can deploy a turnstile. Uh, okay, uh, fine, you can deploy a turnstile. You can deploy a man trap also, right? But the keyword is cost effective. So the keyword, if you're a manager, you're looking at cost effective system would be, I train the employees and I tell them, guys, if you don't, uh, you know, if you don't follow the rules, I'm going to ensure that you get a 2 days pay cut or 3 days pay cut. Okay. And you train them, you tell them that this is a security risk, this is hazard. If you forget the key card, then there has to be an alternative method by which they will be allowed to enter. They could be issued with a temporary pass for the day or something like that, right? And we all do that, right? Uh, but something tailgating, you will not allow. So this is the right answer. So you have to read a lot, read a lot. Questions have to be read, right? Till now, have you seen any question which makes you feel that, oh, this is something which is very, very a mindset, right? It's mindset. The keyword here was cost effective, right? Okay, then domain 6 is about security assessment and testing. Okay, how do you test your security? Once you've implemented security, you've implemented controls, then you need to test it, you need to audit it, you need to do VAPT, you need to test your softwares. That is all is what security assessment and testing deals with. A small question is there in front of you, will not take much time, and okay, now this is this is a little difficult exam because you need to know what is a first party audit, what is a second party audit, and what is a third party audit. So what is a first party audit? A first party audit is an internal audit, right? You do your own organizational audits. That is a first party audit. What is a second party audit? A second party audit is generally an audit which you do for your interested parties. Okay, you are hiring a vendor for your task. You need to carry out an audit of your vendor. You say, hey, listen, we are going to take your API for your service, but we need to carry out a audit. Who is going to carry out that audit? You can do it yourself, or you can outsource it. You can outsource it to an external agency or to a big four company to go and audit, but it will be a second party audit. What is a third party audit? A third party audit is an audit wherein you are being audited by someone else to meet either a standard or a legal or a regulatory requirement, right? So what is now the answer? Okay, here you are acquiring a company and you need to acquire that company. You need to assess what are the risks that it's going to bring. So you need to carry out an audit. Definitely, you'll do a risk assessment, but ultimately, you are going to audit it yourself, either yourself or you will outsource this audit to someone else, but it will remain a second party audit because you are doing an audit of a interested party, right? Nobody got it right. So was a small technically difficult question unless you don't know what is a first party or a second party or a third party audit. Those who have done ISO 27001 LA would be probably very, very clear with this. Okay. Domain 7 is about how to operate your security, how to maintain your security and run your security on a daily basis, right? So this is a small question and then we will be about to finish and we have a small surprise. Okay. Yeah. So in this case, a privileged account review should have been done properly from time to time. How can a CISO who has grown in service still retain the access of a network firewall manager, which he was 8 years back, right? So here I'm trying to take you to SolarWinds IAM platform, but ultimately I'm trying to say, had you, you know, you did your account review properly every 3 months, okay, or whenever there is a change in job role, okay, this even if CISO's password has been hacked, they wouldn't have had a privilege escalation, right? And then there is software development security. Most of us generally are not tuned to this particular domain, but this domain does not test your programming skills. This tests only general controls uh, about how software is supposed to be developed and what the controls we can implement on generic, application level security, right? And we have a small question on this, and then we will uh, Okay, so this is you will definitely do all four, of course. But here, if you are seeing that I'm trying to highlight something, I'm trying to highlight that you know you were asked to the first and second developer show the code developed stored on their machines. Why is this line required for me to be there? uh, these days you never store your code on your machines. You're not in any development environment. You never store your machines on your local machines, right? It is always stored on a repository, right? Because the code needs to be merged, the code needs to have proper security controls. There is a DevOps cycle. So a good practice is to have a code repository, right? So the rest all are inclusive in the guidance which was imparted. Okay, so your major observation was that there was no code repository, and the best practice would be to have a code repository. Okay, so this is a little bit of uh, I think there are a few of you guys who will pass immediately. Gokul Kumar, I saw, was answering almost everything correctly. Right. So Kaza, if you are there, can we have a short, your small, are you there, Kaza? I don't know if Kaza has joined. So Kaza is one of our students, who was there with me in my previous batches. This guy cleared his CISSP in 56 days. Okay, so that was like one of the biggest surprises for me. He was with me in the training, and he cleared his CISSP in 56 days. So he was supposed to join the meeting today, but then he messaged me that he was driving, so I will not disturb him while he is driving. Right. So now, how to prepare for this exam? Now, this prepare, let me tell you guys, is a difficult exam in terms of preparation. Oh, you're there. Sorry. Okay. So what's your name, Kaza, if you are there? Okay, KP. Sorry, boss.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Hi. Sorry,
Why?
I couldn't
Oh,
find him. So
okay. Sorry, by default it joined from mobile, so it came as KP.
okay,
Yeah.
Kaza, can you quickly give us your insight into the exam, and how did you clear in such a short span of time? Okay, can
Yes, yes, sir.
model.
Yes, sir. Definitely, definitely. Thanks for giving me this opportunity to interact with your, participants here. So I don't want to take much time. Yeah. So, as sir said, I have cleared in 56 days. So I started my preparation on August 1st, and I sat for my exam on September 28th. So, and each and every day, I used to spend for around 6 to 7 hours to, go through each and every domain. It's not an easy task. Of course, obviously, my family has supported me a lot. Even from my office, I took, leave for last 2 weeks. And I used to spend around 13 to 14 hours on weekends. Right. So, the search material is really useful. And, I would say his question bank really helps you. Okay. I think he has recently created an app to go through each and every domain wise. And coming to my background, I am from network security consultant. So for me, out of all the domains, domain 4 is very much relevant to me. So that was very much easy. And I don't have any background about the domain 1, which is basically into the risk, and domain 8. So that's where I struggled. And domain 3 as well. Yeah. So domain 1 and 3, I would say sir has covered really very well. And as I think, if you join the classes, you will also understand. He always suggests to go through that cybex, which really helped me. So I have gone through the cybex, completely end to end, for 2 times as a revision. Okay. And definitely you need to, one session I would say is, instead of studying alone, I would say, take at least one or two as a group, maybe from different domain. Find partner who can help you out with some other things. So for in my case, I have one of my colleague who is preparing alternatively for the same exam, and he is expert on domain 5. So we used to exchange our ideas, and sometimes we used to um, practice the questions together so that we can exchange our ideas basically. So that's what I would say. And since I am weak on domain 1, 3, and 8, I I used to practice a lot of questions. So the questions from sir's app, and even I suggest to use learns app, which is from the ISC2 itself. I subscribed exactly 3 to 4 weeks before, because it costs you hardly 1500. Not 1500. If you subscribe from Apple iOS, it is 1500. Otherwise, from Android, it is 1000. So I subscribed exactly 3 to 4 weeks. So it helps me. It helped me a lot, because on the go also you can go through the practice which I have done. When I'm traveling from office to home, or when I'm going through my lunch. I never wasted to practice on the questions. And believe me, I used to apply this, when I'm going to the preparation, each and everything which I'm going through, even outside, I used to apply this principles of the CISSP, whether it is a physical data center or anything. That's how it should be. Even sometimes in my dreams also, I used to think, what's going on. My studies used to come in my dreams, that, I'm going through that. So yeah, I would say while booking the exam, now recently, I think they launched this peace of mind offer, which means you can give your second attempt for a lesser price. So I suggest to book that. So that really helps you. But during the um during your exam, okay, I would give a failure story of my uh, partner who has worked with me. I mean, we both prepared, and he has given exam on September 18th, and I gave on 28th of September. Okay, so the mistake he did is he killed the time. Okay, the time management is very important. So though we practiced, okay, so 15 days before, we used to practice ourselves, like we have different things, like you can go through some boson, or even colonels are now maybe giving you a big papers of maybe 150 questions try to practice at least 150 questions, lock yourself in a room and ensure that you are writing, as if, you're giving an proper exam. Then you will know the time management. So I used to do at least 15 days before. We both did it, in fact, and the problem with him is the time management. He couldn't manage it properly. He wanted to clear. He went with a mindset that he want to clear by 125. So if anyone is having that mindset, see, many of the posts you see that, I cleared by 125, thank God. Please don't go through that, and come out of that mindset. So prepare for 175 questions, and you have only 4 hours of time. Okay. So for me, I finished the first, in 1 hour I could only finish 25 questions. Okay. But the second hour, I try to do a little faster, because for me, I have got, maybe I'm lucky, I don't know, but I got only a single liner questions for almost 70 to 80 out of the 125 I attempted. Okay, I attempted only 125, and by 126th question it's closed, and luckily I got the thing as passed. But I got 70 to 80 questions as one liner, and rest 45 you may get scenario based, but the question itself to read, it will take at least 30 to 40 seconds, because the questions are tricky. Okay, so the time management is very important, and that's why I say you practice more, and don't get discouraged while you are practicing. I practice Sean Harris, which really brought down my confidence level. Okay. So don't worry about that, because you may be lucky enough on the main exam that you may be passing it out. But time management, as I said, the other guy, he wanted to clear at 125, but what happened, he was at 120 and 4 hours time is out. Okay. So please ensure the time management is very important. So that's what my suggestion is, and keep on practicing the questions for last 3 weeks whenever you are ready with all your stuff. And I would say, don't take it as an easy, because I am, as I said, I'm only expert on domain 4. Domain 4 was really cakewalk for me, but rest of the domains I used to spend a lot, and I have prepared a notes, and that notes will help you for a final revision. So that note should be there, and that notes is also, I have taken it from the Cybex and from the SIRS reference, basically. So that helps you a lot. So I would say, at least during the work days, I understand everyone, most of us are working, even I have been that. So I am into system integration, so I am into projects implementation. So whenever I used to have a PDF in my laptop opened in one tab, and whenever I'm getting free time, I used to go through that. So I somehow spend 6 to 7 hours. So at least I suggest to spend 4 hours, as rightly said. Sir's advice when beginning the class, he told to wake up by 5 o'clock, and he will tell you, like, how to manage the time to read while you are working. That really helps. Okay, so that's what I would say. And yeah, it's not an easy exam, and don't think that it is something that we can go through the training and you can complete. No, training is only a 50% of your thing. The rest 50% is something you need to put your own efforts. So I mean, that's all that I would say from my end.
Thank you, Kaza. You made it very clear. You've actually closed my you've done my task easy of taking the rest of the. Actually, what he said is what I will be now saying in next maybe 5 to 10 minutes, right? So it is completely it's a small plan. It's a military plan. It's a military execution plan. So in army we used to know, we will plan something. There will be a lot of stages we'll create, and we used to we used to plan and execute that task. And I take CISSP as a military challenge. You have a target, you create your target lines, cross those parameters, and clear this exam. Thank you, Kaza. Thank you so much. And since you are driving, I'll request you to kindly focus on driving and not listening to me. Right. So those I take it that most of you are pretty experienced, and we should stick to Cybex 9th edition, right? That is as of now till 15th April 2024. This is the Bible till then. However, notwithstanding that, though I saw the revised content, nothing very surprising, I must say. there are some more additions, and the old content is retained. Old content has not been discarded. Old content retains, new content has been added. What has been added, we will discuss. You require at least 3 revisions. Okay. How you do it? You could be having 3 readings. Okay. You could have 1 read, 1 watch, and 1 read again, right? You could have 2 reads, or 2 watch, 1 read. That completely depends on what is your IQ, how you digest content, what is your memory. For me, it was 3 reads because I read. Okay. We didn't have, when I cleared, there was not much of, I will say, there was online classes, live classes were very expensive. I was posted in Ladakh, there was no internet. So I stuck to, reading thrice, right? Uh, you attempt, once you have prepared, you attempt Cybex third edition. If you're scoring around 70% and above, take it that, excuse me, you're there, right? You don't have to remember anything for this exam. It's a conceptual exam. If you can apply your concepts, you'll pass this exam. But practice is very, very important. And as I told you, as Kaza also told, find a preparation buddy, right? Eligibility requirements, no major eligibility requirements. You need to have 5 years of experience in 2 domains. And if you don't have experience, then you will get something called an associate of ISC 2, right? And then you can gain your whatever balance experiences that is required. So what are the major challenges, major changes in the syllabus of 2024? There has been additional new concepts which have developed over last 3 years, like edge networks has become important. Physical segmentation, people are talking about. You're talking about cloud VPCs, how you can implement access policy using, SAS and ZTNA, and you can have location-based audits. So these are the major changes which are coming to CISSP. And to be frank, nothing great, nothing outstanding, which has been introduced. This is everything which we have been following. Guys, just give me a second. I'll just have a glass of water. Yeah, sorry. So these are the major changes which have taken, or a lot of cloud has come in, I will say. A lot of service, SaaS and ZTNA has come in. Okay. But nothing very major, great changes, I will say. I saw the same things when I saw the 2021 syllabus change. Whatever was added was actually there. So maybe it gets, a slightly more extended treatment, right? Now, time required changes. It varies from your experience, how much time commitment you can give. Uh, I can say I know people who have passed this exam in 15 days time, preparation time. They had like 20-25 years of experience. I passed in somewhere around 2 to 2.5 months of preparation. Kaza passed it, and this was one of the most astonishing feature, because this guy was taking training with me, and after third domain, he says, "Sir, I have passed the exam." I remember it was some September. He joined the course on 11th or 12th November, and he gives me a surprise that I passed the exam. So what I'm saying is, this was one of the earliest who cleared, and another friend of mine who cleared in 15 days, I must say. But then that guy is a genius. Okay, depending upon the amount of time you have experience and your family and work responsibilities, I know we all are working, it will take you somewhere between 60 to, I will say that if you are able to devote 3 to 4 hours in day, and we can say around 8 to 10 hours, maybe 6 to 8 hours, this is doable in 90 days. Okay. But you have to stick to the plan. You cannot be attending marriages. You cannot be going for movies. It is pure dedication of time. Okay, so you do this dedication, and the kind of confidence you will get for yourself in your career, and the way your horizon will open up, that is unmatchable. Okay. So the confidence today probably I have in clearing multiple certifications, going and speaking over conferences, and probably launching a startup of on my own is based out of somewhere that dedication which I showed towards clearing CISSP. Okay, so exam is a multiple choice question exam. Okay, you generally get around 2 hours, 2.30 minutes. This doesn't have any dumps. Exam is AI controlled. Uh, like Kaza said, that his exam was one-liners. Why? Because in the first 25 questions, the AI model detected that he's going to pass, and that's why it just started throwing him easy questions. Okay, it knew in the first 25 questions that this guy knows the hard part. Now let him just pass. Okay, so 25 questions is where the AI model will test you and will catch you where you are the weakest, and then it will start throwing question to you for that particular topic. Like I categorically remember I got around 12 questions from GDPR. Why? Because probably I was not very strongly prepared on GDPR, right? So it happens. And once you start passing the exam, difficulty decreases, and that's what Kaza said, right? After 25 question I got one liners, and that is what happens because the model understands that you are going to pass. There are no dumps available, guys. There are a lot of fraud going on the internet that these are the dumps, we will make you pass. CISSP is not possible with any help, with any dump. Anybody who tells you dumps available, do this, do that, sorry, it is pure hard work, nothing else, right? And that's why this exam is so highly regarded, right? It's an expensive exam to give. Exam cost itself is $6, $9, $10. If you take the peace of mind, you spend another 150 USD, right? So it burns you by almost INR 1 lakh. Okay. If you join some preparation classes, another 20, 25,000. So overall, it's an expensive exam to give. So if you have to give this exam, be very, very determined, and then only start preparing. Okay, you should commit to this exam. This exam requires commitment of pure 90 days commitment, and this exam is doable, right? Right now, till 15th April, this is going to be 175 questions, out of which 125 was measured. 50 questions are experimental. You don't come to know which are experimental. For 2024, 150 questions and 3 hours is going to be the exam pattern they are going back to, because this was an experimental 3 years for ISC2. Right. How can I help? We have enough training materials. We have our own LMS platform. Okay, this is our platform. You have everything. You have question answers. We have more than 2,000 questions on the platform. And, we do a lot of brainstorming. I have few students who are right now also attending this particular webinar. Uh, we till now, I'm so happy that we have been having it. It's almost 1.5 years, 2 years now. Until now, we have had 100% passing as far as CISSP, CISA, CISM, and CRISC are concerned. These are the 4 major courses we are dealing with. And other than that, we have few GRC analysts and cybersecurity analyst courses. Very transparent pricing. We don't have someone like Simply Learn on others who will quote you 1,80,000, bring the price to 1,25,000. There are people who quote 60,000. So we have very transparent pricing. It is visible on our website. Go, if you like it, please buy it. But we have a very transparent mechanism. Okay, you have access to 365 days because I know my students will pass within max 6 months, right? Those who intend giving the exam, they pass within 6 months, right? So this is all I would like to say. We got a wonderful learning management platform. It really helps. We have an app on Android coming up by next week. Okay. And if you want to get in touch with us, these are our contact details. And the house is open for questions. If you have any questions, you may please ask. I will, remove restrictions on any kind of okay, so I've allowed you to unmute. If you have any questions, please ask. Okay.
So this is Jay Shankar. I'm into life sciences domain, pharma and med devices company. I'm into IT quality, right? I'm not too technical in terms of any cyber controls, all those aspects. So do you think
What is your
I'm
qualification, Jash?
my educational qualification is BE mechanical engineering.
Okay, fine. You're generally aware of OSI, TCP/IP, what's a firewall?
Yeah, right.
Please jump in. Your general IT general controls, if I tell you what's a firewall, uh, that won't make a lot of noise for you. If that is the case,
No,
then please jump in. Be mechanical is more than enough.
sure.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
It's more of a management concern, not very technical. It's
Okay.
it talks about general flows. Okay, so if you remember mechanical first semester, wherein we generally touch everything, refrigeration, cooling. Okay, so it's something like that. You're touching all
Sure.
the domains of engineering. So here you are touching all
Okay.
the domains of security, basically. A little bit technical it goes, and that's where we hold hands.
Okay. Thanks.
Nothing out of the world technical, to be frank. These are the controls which I heard when I was in probably in class 12th, and these are the controls which I hear now, other than few techniques which have changed over a period of time.
Okay.
Yeah, I will recommend that, Kevin, to stick to the order, but there is no hard and fast rule. If you are comfortable with a particular domain, you can go ahead with it. But there is a correlation between domain one with others. Okay, so domain one and domain two flow into other domains. I will say domain one, two, three flow into other domains. So that's why it's better to have one, two, three, and then apply it on other domains. But there's no hard and fast rule, to be frank. But it's good to go in a sequence. That's why somebody wrote that book in sequence, I feel.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Rajan this side. Actually, I'm already into SOC, cyber security, and having 7.7 years of experience total.
Okay.
So I am working as a lead in SOC. So, should I proceed with CISSP or good MBA with IIMs and all, or online? So, what is the best for me?
If you are in SOC, why do you want to do an MBA from IIM, that too online?
No, I'm just moving towards the managerial role. So that's why I'm looking for.
So
Because
see, I would be the last person to discourage you from doing IIM. Why not? If you can crack CAT or MAT and do an
no,
IIM.
a lot of executive MBAs are going on with IIMs online. So that's why I'm looking for
Rajan,
go with the CSSP or these things.
Rajan, it all depends on your interest, your career focus. I don't know you personally, but if I would have been there and I have a particular strength, I would like to remain in that strength because I can see there is a tremendous growth in information security today, information and cyber security. And if you would like to change your line completely after 7 years, you might have to struggle a little, but it's ultimately it's your I will say it's your wits, your what kind of person you are.
No, I want to be into the cyber field only on going grow with the upper management like SOC
Yeah, so if you
manager
want to
and
grow with the
associate
upper
director, such
management,
type of things.
yeah, if you want to grow for the
Yeah.
upper management, having in information security, nobody is going to ask you MBA, to be frank. Okay. Nobody, at least not in information security. If you want to remain in information and cyber security, nobody is going to ask you MBA. Okay. So, but yes, CISSP, definitely. Definitely. Today morning, thanks to Kaza, we have closed 6 positions at very, very high, remuneration packages, which one of the positions was offered to me. I gave it to my friend. The basic requirements for CISSP. Okay, you just had a word with Colonel Jaydeep.
Okay.
The only reason he is into Augers is because he's CISSP, and he's handling a very, very critical role in UIDAI. Okay, so you have to understand that, you know, there are very, very few information security professionals today who understand the complete domain. You are coming from SOC. I've never seen a SOC. I mean, I know what a SOC is, but I never worked in a SOC.
Yeah.
Right. So what I'm saying is you got a unique skill which nobody else has. How many people, you know, I was doing a small training exercise with someone, and they were all GRC professionals, and most of them didn't know what is threat intelligence. Okay, so they said, so no, so we are not bothered about threat intelligence because our task is make policies and ensure those policies are followed. So we don't know what is threat intelligence. So imagine even being in the cybersecurity industry and information security industry for almost 12 years, 15 years, these people say, we don't know what is threat intel, right? So there is immense scope, and look at the way we are growing as an economy. And how many people are CISSPs today? When I passed my CISSP, I was 1632 or something like that. Last I
Yeah.
checked was 3200 people, and today it might have reached 5000. I have been following LinkedIn and other platforms for last 5 years. I see one CISSP pass from India every maybe 15 days. Can you create that filter for yourself? Is the question. Everybody can do an executive MBA, right? I can pay 30 lakhs.
Yeah, right.
I can do. But can you put in this effort and get this CISSP name in front of it? Why do you think people respect this CISSP? Because people know that you have put in that blood and sweat into this CISSP certification preparation. You know, I'm not saying you have to do a training with me. I do weekend trainings. I've got my own work. I've got my own managed services which I do on the weekdays. I love teaching because it keeps me abreast. It keeps every day I learn. So what happens is I don't say that please take trainings with me. There is Thor Peterson on Udemy. You can learn on your own and clear this exam. Nobody, but ultimately it's your effort. And can you put in that effort is what sets you apart, to be frank.
Yeah, perfect, sir. Yeah, thank you.
Any other question, guys? Okay, then I close the session now. It's almost 8:20. It's one of the longest sessions I've taken. Okay, please get in touch with you if you have any doubts, and you can join our group on WhatsApp and be in touch with us. Okay, we have multiple courses coming on our website, and we are a community. We are helping a lot of people in getting jobs. We are helping a lot of freshers to get into this role. I feel that if you can contribute, you are in a position to help others. Why not? Okay. So thank you all, and have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you for the information, sir.